The terms data science and machine learning are used literally everywhere today. These are among the domains that are extremely popular and are really helpful in solving real world problems. But hey, even though data science and machine learning are used together in context and to actually solve the problem, did you know that these two domains are fundamentally different? It is very easy to get confused with data science and machine learning, and now to make sure that doesn't happen, we here at Great Learning have come up with this video discussing all the differences that lie in between data science and machine learning. It always adds value to know that you guys have used both the domains and you guys use it almost every single day. Are you curious yet? Well, not for long. Let's get started now.
Before we get started, I want to introduce you to Great Learning Academy. This is a free initiative by Great Learning where you can have access to over 200 plus courses with 1000 plus hours of free content on all of the trending high demand domains absolutely free. Register now to complete the course and get your free certificate of completion as well. Check out the link in the description box of the video below for more details. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This is done to make sure you do not miss out on any of the new updates or video releases from Great Learning. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends, colleague, and everyone who can make use of it. And at the end of it, make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or any suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to respond to all of your comments.
So coming to the agenda of this comparison between data science versus machine learning, it always adds some value to understand about data science, understand a little bit about machine learning, and we're going to go on to do this by taking two very fascinating examples, and these examples are something you definitely can relate to in your life as well now. So once we have the introduction part of it done, once we check out these fantastic applications, and quickly we'll move on to the comparison between the actual domains, the actual fight at hand out here to see how data science and machine learning compare to each other when they go head to head, and we can begin on this without any further ado. So guys, when the talk is always about data science and machine learning, it's always starting with the definition, all the mathematics, statistics, all of those things. But here, I want to give you a situation where you have actually used these two domains without going into the complexity of it, right? Well, the first situation is, imagine that you are on a vacation, right? So you and your 15 other friends went on a vacation, probably to the mountains, probably to the beaches or something like that. And of course, right, so whenever we are on a vacation, what do? We click a lot of pictures, be it selfies, be it groupies, just vacation pictures, right? There's a lot of them. Now, if you have ever been very keen on social media, if you just go on to Facebook and now that your vacation is done, you want to upload all of these to your social media, show it across to the world. As soon as you upload it, if you have 15 friends in each picture and maybe you have 10 pictures, right? So you have to tag people manually 150 times. But Facebook is intelligent enough. If you have noticed it quite, the option that's present there, which says that, hey, I think this person is so and so. So Facebook automatically recognizes someone, one of your friends, even though it's a picture that Facebook has never seen before. You clicked it on your phone, you upload it to Facebook, and it's in that moment that you have to realize that you're using a fantastic product of machine learning, right? So face recognition is again a very popular application of machine learning which you guys have used. But then to power all of this data, but to compare it with all the data that already existed, right? So Facebook, the person that the Facebook is trying to tell you about in terms of who the friend is, all the data is coming from the second domain, which again you've not directly used here, but Facebook is using, right? So you see this, the data from your friend's face or his pictures or her pictures, all of this is coming through data science. But then the actual process of face recognition and Facebook recommending you saying that, hey, I can tag this person automatically for you, that is machine learning. So you see how these two domains are intertwined together? Well, perfect. That is not it. Let me give you one more fantastic example in terms of Netflix. Well, what do I say, right? Especially in this lockdown, COVID-19 pandemic, and I think even before that, we all went gaga for Netflix, right? So, at this moment of time, I want to tell you that Netflix is really, really brilliant at making use of these data science systems and, of course, the machine learning systems. I'll tell you how. In terms of data science, and the aspect of where the data actually is stored from, all the company people sending in their, completed video files to be put into data, to be put into the databases, and then actually it goes into the back end of Netflix, and then it gets presented to you. Now the data science aspect is involved there, right from content creation all the way to having performing some sort of analysis on your video and bringing it off for the user to watch. That is one side of things. The second side of things, which I find really fascinating here, is that the fact that Netflix uses I definitely want to say, some of the world's best recommendation systems here. And it's an amazing thing to know that when you're watching something on Netflix, it'll recommend you things which are very similar. It'll recommend you things as though it's a person who's recommending it, rather than it doesn't feel like an algorithm which is sitting on the other end to give you these sort of recommendations, right? So there's many things. You can see that things on your screen right now. There's an actual capture from my Netflix. You can see that I've been watching some TV shows, so all of that is there. The part where it says trending now, right? So this is where the machine learning algorithm sitting there understands that, okay, so a lot of people are watching these probably in the part of in this part of the world, or that people who have watched all the above movies or something like that, they must be very interested in this as well. So it does a lot of complicated processing at the back end, and it brings you this very, very, very customized feeling, the user experience that it drives. And that's the reason why I think everyone in the world, at least most of the people, are comfortable with Netflix as a choice, for their TV shows and watching their movies and whatnot, right? So it's a fantastic tool. It's a very, very, very powerful recommendation tool, which goes to an extent where the AI algorithm there, which again is powered by machine learning, is intelligent enough to change the thumbnails to make you want to watch the movies as well. That's another entire different story on its own, but it is fantastic, right? So I can give you a lot more other example as well. Think about weather prediction, right? So how will I know what tomorrow's weather is? Again, that's another fantastic example of machine learning. You can just ask your phone, hey Google, hey Siri, what's the weather like tomorrow? And you have the answer at your fingertips, right? We're trying to predict the future without having been there. That's why it's called prediction, right? So that's the fantastic part about the world of data science and machine learning. Even though it helps you solve the problem at the moment, the best part is you can use all the past data to have a better present situation in terms of company products and whatnot. And at the same time, you can have the past and the present data to also predict and forecast something into the future. And this is where I believe that data science and machine learning are helping us a lot. They're giving us these two important abilities to find out where the company or the person or whatever is being analyzed went wrong, and also using all of these data to predict what might happen in the future, right? So think about weather prediction. That example is something which is very amazing, right? So way back in the day, not long ago, 20, 30 years back in the day, if you had to take a look at the weather, you had to go outside, look up at the sun, and determine the weather for that day, right? But now this is not the case. I can find out what the weather will be like, again, 10 years from today. So I think these 3-4 examples you guys are very much familiar with, and you guys have used it. But did you know that you were using the most flagship data science and machine learning products out there, right? Perfect. Now, since we're talking about the comparison between data science and machine learning, I have to tell you one very important thing at this moment in time. It's that machine learning is an actual part of the data science architecture, as you can see on your screen right now. I'll quickly brief you through what the data science architecture is, right? So data science is basically a study where we go on to be concerned with the data, everything from its ingestion all the way to some processing, and at the end of it deriving really good insights from the data, right? So data science talks about this. And as you can see here, the first step in data science is, of course, data acquisition. We get the data from multiple sources. Once we have the data has to be cleaned. So why is the data that we obtain cannot just be pushed into the next stage? Why does it have to be cleaned and pre-processed, right? That's a fantastic question. It has to be pre-processed because if you feed incorrect data to your machine learning algorithm, then it performs it really is as good as not using machine learning itself, because your computer in its most native states can only understand zeros and ones, and it is not trained even to do a basic comparison between a cat and a dog's picture. So you have to send really accurate, high quality data, and once you do, your machine learning algorithm learns that, and then of course it just takes off into the magical world of machine learning, right? Perfect. But then, as you can see, after pre-processing, the actual processing of the data, the actual process of us deriving insight happens in this place where there's either machine learning, deep learning, or exploratory data analysis that goes on. After all of this, again, once we have the result, you have to make sure that your result is understood by a wide audience. So we take the textual result, or a very complex sciencey result, and we go on to simplify it by creating beautiful looking graphs, dashboards, and whatnot. And that is exactly what the next step is. And of course, the last step is the goal of data science, to make sure we can derive some key insights, add meaning to the data, right? But perfect, we just covered the data science architecture quickly, but I want you to realize that this, right? So machine learning is one of the studies that comes under data science, even though the domains, what the goal of machine learning is very different from the goal of the entire data science process. That is also something you should have figured out by now. But to add on to that, it is vital to understand that in most practical situations, data science and machine learning are used together, right? Perfect. But if they're used together, does this mean that there are no differences apart from its goal or its working or anything? No. I'll tell you this, there is a fundamental difference that exists between data science and machine learning, and we can check out 3-4 very important points to go on to discuss the same. Right? First of all, the first point has to be with the aspect of you having the skills required for the domain. Because for data science roles, I'll tell you this, you definitely require the working knowledge of statistics and big data tools. There's a lot from Apache Foundation, be it Spark, be it Mahout, and every other open source tool there as well. And of course, you're going to require programming languages like Python. You're going to require many languages in terms of how you can just cater to a good amount of data. SQL is also a language there, right? So that's a requirement there. Then when you're talking about the process of how to clean data, pre-process data, and visualize it at the end of processing, these are some of the skill sets that are specifically required for the domain of data science. But then when you look at the machine learning side of things, in terms of machine learning, the way we handle data, look at data, process it is natively very much different, because the skills required here is not just understanding how statistics works, but it's also applying statistics. So it is applied mathematics, applied statistics concepts that govern machine learning as a whole, right? So you're going to require knowledge about how you can evaluate the data that you have at hand, because as soon as you give it to your machine learning algorithm, that is when it learns the data, and you should know the goal that you are setting for the problem to ensure that you can have your machine learning algorithm solve the goal for you, right? Or get to the goal for you. That's an important thing. And every time you say, hey Google, hey Siri, or hey Alexa, the second you say, you give out that verbal command, you're using the concept of natural language processing, where your phone is listening. It's using that machine learning process, that kind of a structure that is set, where it understands that someone is talking. It not only understands who's talking, but what is being talked about. And of course, these days we have machine learning algorithms which are intelligent enough to call restaurants on your behalf, and of course book tables for you as well. So this is again a skill which is very much required in terms of the machine learning side of things. And data modeling is very much required, because we handle data a little bit differently. We're going to have another point comparing about that. But right now, the second point I want to give you, this is a very, very important point. As I told you, the fundamental differences lie in between its working. Data science is concerned about sourcing the data from multiple places, storing it, cleaning it, pre-processing it, actually performing analysis either by machine learning, deep learning, or exploratory data analysis, after which you'll be taking in all the insights that is the result of the processing and all of this. So this entire circle, this entire chain that we quickly looked at in the architecture, this is data science. But when you take a look at machine learning uses fantastically efficient algorithms to learn and understand what the data is in itself. So without having any sort of human intervention, 3 or 4 times, or in fact it can be thousands of times, that the machine learning algorithm runs through your data. It figures out what it is, it understands the structure that is present in the data, and at the end of it, it knows the data that it is seeing, right? So that is where it is becoming intelligent, and that is where it is learning. Perfect. The next point on our difference here in between data science and machine learning lies with respect to the popular tools. Now, data science and machine learning are extremely powerful domains on their own, and they're really well knit together in a way where if they're used together to solve a problem, that is how it usually is, the solution is fantastic, right? Think about smartphones, think about smart lamps, smart homes. Just think about anything with the word smart against it. There's a good chance either of these or both of these are used there, right? But then to get to that point, you definitely have to make use of some tools. Now, in the case of data science, in terms of, since data science is a very big domain, it involves data ingestion, right? That's where all the big data tools come in, such as Spark, Mahout, Hive, other tools such as that. And then when you're talking about the actual process where you're deriving the insight, you're going to have business intelligence tools such as Tableau, Power BI, and all of that. And of course, you have programming languages like Python, R programming language, SAS, MATLAB. All of these are tools and techniques that we use in data science. But when you're talking about machine learning, it is fundamentally different, right? Machine learning is used directly to solve a problem at hand or to use a data set, analyze, and give you a result. Now, with a goal such as that, you have to understand that there is no direct tool that's going to help you finish the entire process together, but there are tools which will give you a fantastic user interface to go on to do this entire complex process of machine learning really easily. And in those tools, mostly those are popular in the cloud computing platforms we have today in terms of Azure Machine Learning Studio and of course AWS SageMaker as well. So these two are very, very popular tools for machine learning. But then if you're talking about libraries which are extremely popular for machine learning and data science, you can think about NumPy, you can think about Pandas, Scikit-learn, TensorFlow, there's a lot of other libraries in terms of Python there as well. Perfect. Now, as I told you, we're talking about data handling real quick here because data is handled fundamentally different in these two concepts, right? In the case of data science, it has the capability, the entire process has the capability to make use of both structured and unstructured data. Structured data, to give you an example, is like an Excel workbook where you have rows and columns of data, you have named the columns and all of that. So that is structured. Unstructured data, to your surprise, might be images, can be music, can be videos. Videos is basically moving images and music. So that makes it even more out of structure, right? So that's an example of unstructured data. Now, data science can handle all of these things. If you're looking at machine learning makes use of data in a very different way. It uses data to perform statistical computations, to perform statistical analysis in a way where it builds models using the data. And this database that it builds, it works on it by making use of these powerful mathematical algorithms. And as soon as the algorithms part of it is done, it is usually called as a machine learning model and not as a machine learning algorithm, right? So you see this fundamental differences of how data itself is considered as an entity in data science versus how data is even thought of, processed, and used for the algorithm in the case of machine learning, right? So it's not only this, there are many other applications which you guys can definitely relate to in terms of our comparison. So let's quickly take a look at the popular applications. Regarding fraud detection, I think this is a very common thing. If there's a person who made a credit card transaction here, let's say in Bengaluru, and 10 minutes later, if it was a transaction that was made in Libya, Kenya, or any other place, right? So if it is halfway across the world, the banks, the algorithms which are sitting and working at the banks, the machine learning models realize that there is something wrong. A person cannot fly to USA, UK, or wherever that credit card was used in a matter of 10 minutes, right? So they raise a red flag, they block the transaction, they give you a call. How is this process done so quickly and to ensure that you don't lose money? Guess what? Data science, right? It gets all the data from your location, your usage, it even analyzes how you shop, where you shop, and all of that. A lot of details into that, right? And the second thing is healthcare analysis. I absolutely love how today we can bring together the really powerful, one of the most powerful domains out there right now of data science, and of course the most important requirement is healthcare. We can bring it together and have wonderful solutions in terms of genome synthesis, in terms of actually finding vaccines for pandemics as well, and 1,000 other applications. Data science is helping a lot in terms of healthcare. Perfect. Now taking a look at machine learning, as I told you, is very good for recommendation systems and facial recognition. Recommendation systems, as we already discussed, something something like Netflix, Amazon Prime. In fact, you might have been recommended this video right on YouTube, right? Even YouTube has a fantastic machine learning model that is considered to be one of the top-notch recommendation systems out there. And every time you shop on Amazon, well, every time you buy something, you buy a mobile phone, it'll tell you that, hey, people who have bought the mobile phone also bought a tempered glass, a case, and all of that, right? That's a recommendation system right there, literally, right? Perfect. And then when you think about facial recognition is fantastic. The example from Facebook. But at the end of the day, if you take a look at the applications of machine learning side, the data, how it gets generated, how it gets to a point where the algorithms use it, that is where data science comes into the picture. And again, from the product of machine learning, how you would create beautiful looking graphs, maybe business intelligence dashboards or whatever it is, that again is where data science sits, right? So we took a look at the architecture. We understood that machine learning sits right at the center of the data science architecture, and both of these domains are intertwined, but that doesn't mean that they do exactly the same thing as you would have understood by now, right? So guys, with this particular comparison between data science and machine learning, we had a quick introduction to the concepts. We checked out some fascinating applications which all of us have used, and now we know that there is a good amount of data science and machine learning in them. And of course, we had a comparison where we put data science and machine learning head to head together, and we made sure to find out all the important differences and note it down there. So alright guys, thank you so much for watching. If you think there are any more points in comparison which are important in terms of data science versus machine learning, do head to the comment section and let me know there. Alright, I'll see you in the comment section guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one.
I want to introduce you to Great Learning Academy. This is a free initiative by Great Learning where you can have access to over 200 plus courses with 1000 plus hours of free content on all of the trending high demand domains, absolutely free. Register now to complete the course and get your free certificate of completion as well. Check out the link in the description box of the video below for more details. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, I want to request you to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. This is done to make sure you do not miss out on any of the new updates or video releases from Great Learning. And of course, guys, if you enjoy this video, show us some love and do like this video. Knowledge increases by sharing, right? So make sure you share this video with your friends, colleagues, and everyone who can make use of it. And at the end of it, make sure to comment on the video if you have any queries or any suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to respond to all of your comments.